Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Some people survive near-death experiences and come out stronger. After surviving a stabbing from their fiancée, today's defendant got more than just a hospital bill. He landed in court, facing charges for drugs and interference. But the irony doesn't stop there. Despite charges that suggest a profitable side hustle, he's applying for a public defender. From interference accusations to questionable life choices, buckle up, because this courtroom saga is as messy as the choices that brought us here.
Good afternoon. What is your name, please?
Eric Griffin.
Very well. We'll now be on the record in case number 2024 CR 217, State of Kansas versus Eric Kendrick Griffin. County Attorney Jill Gillette appearing for the state. Mr. Griffin appearing in person and pro se. Mr. Griffin, in count one, you're charged with unlawful possession of the controlled substance oxycodone. This is charged as a level 5 drug felony. If convicted, depending on your criminal history, if any, your sentence would be 10 to 42 months in prison, and your fine could be up to $100,000. In count two, you're accused, Mr. Griffin, of unlawful possession of the controlled substance clonazepam. This is a Class A non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, your sentence could be 12 months in jail, and your fine could be $2,500. In count three, you're charged with attempted interference with law enforcement in an effort to unlawfully and knowingly conceal evidence, and with the intent to prevent or hinder apprehension or prosecution. You allegedly called someone in the community in an effort to avoid law enforcement. This is a level 10 non-person felony. If convicted, your sentence could be 5 up to 13 months in prison. Your fine could be up to $100,000. In count four, you're accused of unlawful possession of the controlled substance, marijuana and/or its active ingredient, THC. This is a Class B non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve up to 6 months in the county jail. You could pay a fine up to $1,000. In count five, you're accused of unlawfully possessing drug paraphernalia in the form of some type of container possessed with the intent to store, contain, conceal, or any of a number of options, a controlled substance into the human body. This also is a B non-person misdemeanor. It also carries a sentence of up to 6 months and $1,000. Do you have the means to hire an attorney, or do you need to apply for court appointed?
I need to apply for court appointed, ma'am.
Are you employed?
Self-employed, and well, I also work for a moving company here and there in Derby, Kansas.
And how much do you make on average per month?
I mean, it varies depending on whether or not I go and work for the moving company. Also, it depends on the jobs here. I'd say on average, anywhere from about $2,000 a month. It could be more than that, depending on whether or not I go work at the moving company in Derby.
Okay. So what kind of work do you do for yourself?
I'm a handyman. I work on houses. I do, demolition. I mean, demolition, install insulation, just whatever they need. There's a lot of houses
so that also may vary depending on the available work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you married or single?
Technically single, ma'am.
Technically single, you're living with someone?
I'm engaged. Yes, I live with Amber Underwood.
And she has some drug charges of her own, doesn't? No.
I'm
Theft-
sorry.
Yes.
Theft or drugs, or both, Miss Gillette?
Aggravated battery with a deadly weapon on Mr. Griffin,
Oh, yes.
drug charges.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you, Mr. Griffin.
Okay.
I don't know who that is at this moment. You'll need to check back with my assistant Missy later next week, and she can tell you, or she can get the word to the jail if
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
still in custody.
I have worked with Richard Baugh before. And he's familiar with me. If I could request him, I would appreciate it.
Okay, Missy, that's something for you to think about if you wish. Richard Paul. And your bond has been set at 20,000. I'm putting conditions on your bond that you have no contact with Amber Underwood. And apparently there's some endorsed witnesses, Jacob Hamilton and Jaron Mitchell. What's your relationship with them?
Jacob Hamilton is my neighbor. Jaron Mitchell was my roommate. His address is with his mother. And
Okay, hold up. Ms. Gillette, do you want him to stay away from them? Is there any reason he should?
Mr. Mitchell has his own drug charges for what was in his room. And Mr. Hamilton is the witness that they called instead of calling law enforcement. So I'd ask that they have no contact at this time.
Was this allegedly some kind of call to hide some evidence?
Mr. Griffin was bleeding out extremely bad, and him and at least Ms. Underwood and him had contacted Mr. Hamilton to try to come take care of the bleeding that was very profuse. He ended up being life flighted, I believe.
Okay, so they didn't want the officers to know that she had allegedly stabbed him, is what you're thinking?
Yeah. He has
Okay,
knowledge of the stabbing.
I don't recall speaking.
okay, well, sir, your attorney, especially Richard Paul, would say, stop talking.
Yes, ma'am.
He says that frequently to his clients. All right, so no contact with Jacob Hamilton, no contact with Amber Underwood, no contact with Jaron Mitchell. Do not have any drugs, any illegal drugs or alcohol anywhere around you. Don't be around any people with it. Don't have it on your possession or under your control. Stay away from liquor stores, bars, places like that.
Yes, ma'am.
And as I said, your bond is set at 20,000. I presume you're unable to make that if you're getting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, ma'am. And I was going to ask if there is any way we could either lower it or possibly do an OR, which I'm assuming the OR is out of the question, but I was wondering if there's any way, because I do have things that I need to take care of at my home. And if that were possible.
Is that your home with Amber Underwood?
Yes, ma'am, but she's incarcerated and she won't be out for quite a while. And that would allow me to start getting my things together so that eventually I could move to a different place.
How's that leg doing? Didn't you have like a nearly severed artery or something?
Yes, ma'am, it's healing pretty well. I mean, it's not completely healed. There's like a knot there still, but the sutures were removed and it's healing pretty decently.
Okay. They're not fearing any blood clots that you know of?
No, ma'am.
And if you made bond, you'd go back to that house you shared with these folks?
Yes, ma'am. And I also have some work literally right down the street that I could go do. I actually did some right before I was arrested. And
So where's your roommate Hamilton?
Hamilton was not my roommate.
He's
Mitchell.
He's a neighbor.
Where's your Where's your roommate, Mitchell?
He will be staying at his mother's house, which
Oh,
is,
you did say that.
yes. Right now, he's taking care of my dogs, and he will not be doing that, obviously, if I come back, so that there would be no
Well,
conflict.
where would Miss Underwood be if she bonds?
That's what I'm saying, that I would like to at least try to lower my bond so that I could get my things together and get them ready to be able to move.
Ms. Gillette, what does the state have to say about modifying the bond from the 20,000 currently?
5,000 cash or professional.
All right, that's quite a jump. $5,000 cash or professional surety. No contact with any of those people or alcohol and drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
Reappear, Missy when?
January 31st at 1:30.
You must be back here by Zoom, January 31st, 2025 at 1:30. You must talk to your attorney before then. And you're going to call Missy to find out if it's Richard Paul or someone else.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything further, Miss Gillette?
I can't do anything.
All right, then we'll be in recess for now, sir. You may go to you're remanded to the sheriff.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
This defendant's story feels like a cautionary tale wrapped in questionable decisions. From surviving a stabbing to navigating charges for drugs and interference, the contradictions keep piling up. Was this a case of desperation meeting disaster? Or does the courtroom simply expose what was already falling apart? And more importantly, how does someone accused of street-level dealing end up needing a public defender? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.